If you are a longtime fan of this channel, then you've probably picked up that myself and Rob are big fans of the Borderland games. We have put many hours into the first two of the series. And while the pre sequel Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderland are more of the, yeah, we know they aren't great, but we still find enjoyment in them category, we still love the games. Now, I admittedly don't pay that much attention to the actual lore of the games, but I know my fair share, and I can definitely tell you when something feels like peak Borderlands. And from hearing about the movie, seeing the first trailer, and now having watched the movie, I can tell you that the movie is not peak Borderlands. And it's more like a movie written by someone who has seen some clips and was told what Borderlands is like. Unlike recent video game adaptations that try to go parallel with games or to add to the lore of the game world with a new story altogether, Borderlands is more like the Assassin's Creed adaptation. It was just kind of inspired by it and has things you recognize. But this movie has more characters and other things from the games that you would go, oh, I remember those, and oh, yeah, I liked Borderlands. It takes ideas, characters, and locations from Borderlands 1 and 2 and their DLCs. The aesthetics of which admittedly are pretty good. Pandora looked like Pandora, and the vehicles looked pretty good. Some accurate, some not really from the game, but still look like they fit. The costumes of all the characters looked for the most part like outfits from the game. It is just a shame that they were on such a poor choice of actors. Kate Blanchett and Jamie Lee Curtis are way too old to be playing Lilith and Tannis, and their performances were pretty cringe. Kate tried to play Lilith as some sort of stoic, badass bounty hunter that's just thrown into this mess, but she is very one note and one look and just comes off very unlikable. Jamie Lee Curtis kind of went on the other side of the spectrum. She went full, this is how wacky video game people act, so I will be just as weird and wacky and over the top as my old bones will let me. And she really did not pull it off that well. Ariana Greenblatt's Tiny Tina was just like a cheesy Comic Con cosplayer like performance. She lacked the absolute wacky insanity and occasional somber real moment of the game version that was much better, and that was just like a voice most of the time. Kevin Hart's Roland was not bad. He was actually more of the straight man like Roland was in the games, but he pretty much just played Kevin Hart in a beret. Craig the Psycho was actually pretty good and accurate, and I did like Jack Black's Claptrap, even though I don't think it needed to be Jack Black doing the voice. The original voice of Claptrap would have been just as good, and even though the fan base is kind of split on if he's annoying or not, it still would have been a better, hey, this is something the fans will recognize thing than just a celebrity that they try to use for a box office draw. And these days, they don't really add much to the draw, especially now that they're all getting political. And according to the box office, this cast really has not been helping to sell tickets. All right, so on to the story. It begins with Roland breaking Tiny Tina and Craig out of an Atlas prison, then cut to Lilith immediately walking into a bar onto another planet with a bounty. That's right, she is a bounty hunter, and as from the look of her, she has no tattoos or anything saying she's a siren. A bunch of goons from the Atlas Company show up, and Lilith just instantly kills them all but the leader. And then pan to our big baddie swiveling around in a chair doing the cliche clap, well done for beating my guys thing. Before he even gets a chance to really talk to Lilith, she just shoots him instantly, and I did kind of like that. But wait, he's still talking because his face is just a hologram of President Atlas. The one surviving goon put on this hologram projector necklace thing the body was wearing, and then there's a joke about how Atlas's hologram face has to tell the body what to do, but then that is just instantly dropped and forgot about, and the goon knows exactly what to do now for maximum dramatic effect, like shooting Lilith's bounty. They did a joke, and then immediately broke the thing this joke set up when the original game would have probably just kept it going. But whatever. President Atlas then pays Lilith to go to Pandora to find Tina and set off a beacon once she has her in custody. Lilith then goes to Pandora, which is where she's from in this version of Borderlands, apparently, and she's picked up by Marcus. And you see the bus from the first game, and they're doing the whole welcome Vault Hunter thing, video thing, but Lilith, she doesn't like it because she's not a Vault Hunter and thinks that the vault is stupid. Lilith is then dropped off at Firestone, and there she meets Claptrap, who apparently is the last Claptrap in existence and has laid dormant until, I guess he read her body signature, was back on the planet, and reactivated. He is mysteriously programmed to help her out, even though he doesn't really want to because Lilith is a bitch. Claptrap figures out Tina's last known location, they secure a runner, and go find Tina. They find her instantly. But Tina doesn't want to go, and she starts throwing her trademark bunny bombs at Lilith, and, that just kind of breaks the summoning beacon and all the chaos. Craig then gets involved with the fight. He was just kind of hanging out in a car house thing outside till Tina called him to help. The fight after that was interrupted by General Knox and her army. Yep, Knox is a girl and doesn't have the power armor stuff. And you learn later, she is mostly motivated by the fact that Roland just kind of ghosted her, and she's not happy. Speaking of Roland, he shows up to save the day in a vehicle similar to, but not actually, the Bandit technical from the games. There is a car chase that leads to where you get the P joke from the trailer and the shot of them jumping through a Thresher's head to get away. While repairing the truck, Lilith learns that the ragtag group have one of the vault keys and are looking for the vault in order to stop a man like Atlas from having it. So Lilith joins them, and they go to Sanctuary to talk to Dr. Tannis, who was the one that led him the key in the first place. Why they didn't instantly go there after Roland rescued Tina, I don't know. I guess it wasn't convenient to the plot. But anyway, they go to Sanctuary, and apparently Roland was only contacted by Tannis and doesn't actually know her or how to find her, but knows someone who does. And that's when we get to see live-action Mad Moxie. And man, what a letdown to any Borderlands fan, male and cosplay enthusiast female combined. While the outfit was good, the acting and character was terrible. And even though Moxie's unknown age is kind of an ongoing gag in the game franchise, the fact that she's played by an older woman in the movie kind of let down. If anything, she should just be like a super plastic surgery tits out kind of girl. There was no jokes about her being her husband's, no real sexual innuendos. She just had terribly thick southern accent, very serious, and was not in the movie long. Also, again, if Roland already knew that Moxie would know where to find Tannis, why didn't he just go to Sanctuary in the first place to ask her? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because Roland immediately fucks off to distract some Crimson Lance soldier that was apparently his old roommate. So Moxie gives all the info to Lilith, and it turns out they know each other, and they kind of just talk about Lilith's mom for a bit. After Roland's former roommate goes for his gun in an attempt to capture Roland, he gets tased and the group make a run for it. They make it to Tannis' hideout, and it turns out Lilith knows her too. There's more backstory given about Lilith's mom and her escaping the planet with Tannis. And then I guess Tannis had left her with bandits and fighters so she could go back to Pandora to look for the vault and honor Lilith's mother, and Lilith wasn't very happy about that. We also learned that Tina is special, and apparently the child of Iridia that is talked about in the Legend of the Vault and how to open it. Part of a vault key was discovered by Atlas. I guess that was like the vault key that they have already. I don't know. That wasn't really explained. Anyway, that vault key had some blood on it, so Atlas used it to create and clone Tina in a lab in order to manufacture the daughter of Iridia that could open the vault once all the pieces of the key were found. This motivates Lilith more to help Tina, and they all kind of go to sleep. The next day, Claptrap is in the town looking for parts to fix the beacon for Lilith. General Knox and her men see him and follow him to Tannis' hideout, but Claptrap warns them and they escape in a garbage truck. Oh, and Tanis apparently knows where the second piece of vault key is, and so they make their way to the Caustic Caverns. They enter the caverns and immediately tell and show the audience that the caustic sludge will quickly dissolve anything except the natural crystals of the cave or something like that. They also encounter bloodshots and have to sneak past them, so Claptrap distracts them by calling them all names and getting shot a lot. He survives millions of bullets while everyone sneaks past, and then he escapes and just kind of like sheds his armor skin thing or whatever and is fine. Because Claptraps, he definitely has some bullshit survivability stuff in the games for comedic effect, but he is not indestructible like this movie wanted to portray. And if he was, I don't know how he was the last Claptrap then. Surely they all would have been just as tough as him. So the group gets to a storage area of boxes that were from the old miners that had created the caverns, and Lilith finds that the key piece immediately because she just seems kind of drawn to it. Claptrap then does like the poop joke from the trailer by shitting out a bunch of the bullets that were shot at him, and his screaming about passing a big one. The bloodshots arrive and a battle begins. Honestly, the fight scenes in this movie didn't really do anything for me. They barely had any guns that looked like Borderland guns. There was no shields or powers or cool tech. It was generic shooter action, and no one but maybe the Psycho Craig actually looked good. Kevin Hart and Cate Blanchett are not action stars. Remember how I said the movie told you that the caustic stuff of the caustic cavern would eat through literally anything, but like the natural crystals? Well, apparently was kind of forgotten about or just not true, because all the caustic shit was being pumped through a bunch of metal pipes that Roland would shoot and splash corrosive juice on all the bloodshots, killing them in order to get away. Yeah, I guess it was caustic when it needed to be caustic, and just like green goo when it needed to be green goo. But other than making green goo magically caustic, again, Roland also had to sacrifice himself to buy time for the rest of the group to fix an elevator, and it was definitely supposed to be an emotional moment between him and Tina, but it didn't really leave any sort of impression. It was nowhere near as heavy as a moment as Roland's sacrifice in Borderlands 2, where you actually feel for Tina and how sad she and everyone in the game is after he's gone. These movie versions, you just don't care about these characters, and his relationship with Tina was so flimsily set up that the emotion just didn't hit. You also figure pretty quickly that he's just gonna survive and he'll show up later. So while Roland is doing his sacrifice thing, the rest of the cast go flying up this elevator towards a ceiling that, oh no, it's blocked off. The wall get crushed, and then they're screaming. Ooh, the air starts going all fuzzy. The elevator explodes out the ground, and wait, where's our heroes? Well, it turns out they teleported or phase walked to freedom, and Tina is just super excited. She takes credit. She's bragging about this new power of her she discovered because she is the child of Iridia. And cut to nighttime in a cave after they reveal, hey, Roland was in fact alive, but trapped. And Tanis is in the cave. She combines the keys to learn that the vault location, and then tells Lilith, hey, Tina might actually die when she opens this vault. Lilith has to just go outside and contemplate this news. Then Claptrap arrives, gives her the repaired beacon, and Lilith decides, hey, you know what? I don't want to turn into Tina, and just smashes the beacon. But wait, a drone shows up and starts projecting a hologram of Atlas. It turns out the beacon was actually a tracker, and Atlas was following them the entire time, even though it was broken the entire time. He just showed up instantly after it was fixed and turned on, because I guess he was nearby, like 30 seconds away. Tina witnesses Lilith talking to the hologram of Atlas and thinks Lilith betrayed her, so she blows her up, and the group leave her in Claptrap. And when Lilith wakes up, not really scathed, Claptrap tells her, hey, they went that way, towards a village. Turns out that just happens to be the whole hometown of Lilith. She visits her old house, and this makes Claptrap start playing a message from Lilith's mom, who was probably the one that told him to help Lilith upon her return. Cut to Tannis and Tina getting to the vault entrance, and Tina tries to open it, but what? It's not working. And wait, Atlas was apparently there the entire time for them because they just appear to ambush. I guess he knew exactly where the vault was without having to put the keys together and seeing on the map. I don't know. Plot demanded an ambush for the final battle, so there was an ambush for the final battle. And first, Roland shows up and he tries to save the day, but that wasn't very successful. Nox gets in the way, says, "Wait, I love my short chocolate king, and I forgive him for ghosting me," but then Atlas just kind of disintegrates her with a big chip gun. Lilith shows up, and FaZe walks on command, going, "Hey, turns out I'm the daughter of Iridia, not Tina." Oh, and the audience goes, "Yeah, no shit." Doesn't take someone who knows the games to figure that out. You were so obviously the actual child of Iridia when they just kept talking about your mom and how special you were and the fact that you were born on Pandora. So Lilith goes to open the vault in a deal to save everyone, and in the process, she turns into the Firehawk. Yep, you finally get Siren Lilith, and it doesn't look great. Big battle breaks out, and eventually ends with Atlas taking Tina hostage, so Lilith takes him into the vault where she's even more superpowered. She steals Atlas's personal shield. Yep, he finally had the shields from the game, and only Atlas had one. However, this allows Tina to get away, and then some Thresher arms come out of a hole and grab Atlas and drag him down. So yeah, that was the vault monster reveal. It was done in seconds. They didn't fight it. The vault was abandoned, never talked about again. There was no loot, no money, no iridium, nothing. It was just a dark room to make CGI monsters easier to do, and had some glowing floating rocks, and it was very disappointing. There's a party in Sanctuary. Lilith makes a Firehawk symbol in the sky like a firework, and the movie ends. It was a video game movie truly back to their shit roots. Even with some of the good Borderlands visuals and occasional funny claptrap line, it just did not feel like Borderlands. There just wasn't the same type of wacky, over-the-top insanity from the psychos and the dialogue, and the guns weren't very cool. This movie probably should have been like rated R and just went full blood, gore, crude humor. Just make it over the top and wacky. If you're really going to make a movie like this, just go full bore. And most importantly, get fans of the games to write it and people who can actually put heart and passion into it. This movie just had no heart. It didn't know what it wanted to do. It didn't want to know how far it wanted to cross lines. The story was dumb and an unoriginal bastardization of the first two games. Most of the jokes didn't land, and the acting was forgettable. This was a movie that just did not need to be made. And I wish Gearbox would stop, take the time, and focus on making Borderland games great again.